At the end of Unit 2, Two Worlds, Two Standards, Which Do I Choose? I wanted to share a conversation with you that I've had with a number of students. It all has to do with just scrutinizing the assumptions that they make, the values that they claim are driving their decision making. Here's one that you guys might be able to relate to. In schools like ours, very competitive, very college-oriented, very ambitious schools with bright students, I have some kids that just run themselves ragged, really lacking sleep and seem out of balance with their work levels. And I ask them what they're doing, what's it all about? And the answer is usually grades. I need good grades. And I say, okay, so the good grades, your grades are good. What's wrong with a 3.6 or whatever? No, I need like a 3.8 or whatever. And I say, well, so what's that all about? Well, because I want to get into a good college. And I say, yes, good college. Everybody wants a good college, but what does that mean for you? What's a good college? Well, a prestigious college, I find out, is what they mean by that. And I say, yes. So if you get into a Yale or a Columbia or a Stanford, something different will come for you as opposed to, say, a Reed College or a Gonzaga or Seattle University. Well, I have a better chance at a good job. And I say, the good job thing. I need good grades for a good college for a good job. And what constitutes a good job? Well, a job that makes, a substantial living, that has high income potential. I said, yes, right. And why that? Because that's what it means to be a success. Well, I invite my students to scrutinize really carefully what that means. Who doesn't want to be a success? I do. And I want them to be a success, but who defines what that means? And in all of those decisions that I just asked about, I think that there are some classic values in our culture's DNA that we just don't even question anymore. Let me show you what I mean. Some classic standards or expectations that we have come out in questions like this that go on between, say, high school seniors like yourselves. And adults, teachers maybe, counselors maybe. Is this decision going to ensure the financial security of myself and my future? Is this college choice or this job choice or this internship choice I make? That's one of the standards, the gold standards of our culture, financial security. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but a lot of famous criminals have made that their goal. Financial security. So certainly by itself that's not enough, and everyone would agree, of course, that's not everything. But it comes up a lot. Am I doing something that will likely lead to my success? And of course, success again has usually to do with financial success. But we should define that very, very carefully. By some common standards, a whole lot of the world's greatest people have not been successes. I don't know by what standard we'd call Gandhi a success, other than, in hindsight, his lasting influence, but certainly not the money he made, certainly not the positions he held. So I think it's worth asking, at least. Sometimes a standard that adults are anxious to hear from us is that we're onto something that will lead to our independence, our freedom, and our happiness. Who can argue with those values, right? I want freedom and happiness, but I don't know that I can actualize myself, that I can become my highest possible self, and then therefore be happy by myself, independently. What's so wrong with interdependence? Is that a weakness anymore? It's not a typical American value, but there's some grace in it, and freedom to do what? If not to live in mutually dependent community. What is that freedom? Another one is that we hope for what we do to lead to some social recognition, some high esteem, if not fame, at least to be known for what we're doing as athletes, as students. Recognition is wonderful. I understand that. But are famous people happier than unfamous ones? I've heard it said by philosophers, be wary if too many people are impressed with you, you might be more of a conformist than you are a leader. Don't think that I don't share some of the interest that you might have in ensuring my family's financial security and becoming more financially independent, more free. And to have some social recognition would be nice. I can't deny these things occur to me too. They just need careful scrutiny. Here's some of the questions that I hear asked of young people, and as I hear them, I hear a value beneath the question. I wonder if you can do the same, or if you think I'm reading into it. What do you think about this question? The dad might ask his senior what they want to do, and if they hear he wants to be a teacher or a social worker, the dad might say, well, right, but I'll be doggone if I'm going to send my kids to a $60,000 a year college to become a teacher or a social worker. It seems to me that there's a bias beneath that question. Here's another question. A student says she wants to study fine art. Another might say, oh, well, what the heck are you going to do with that? I think there's a bias beneath that too. Certain expectations implied as we decide what we want to study in school. Another student might express interest in doing the Peace Corps after college. A mom might say, well, don't you think it would be a good idea to make a little money before you went traveling the world as a volunteer? Is there an expectation, a cultural norm or a standard that this student is offending by wanting to travel the world and volunteer before they settle into a lifelong career? I've heard parents speak to each other about the schools that their kids have chosen, and in schools like mine, sometimes parents have kind of attitudes about the college choices we make. If a mom says, well, you know, my child chose the University of San Francisco, another mom might say, oh, well, I hear that's a very nice school, in a kind of patronizing way. Did she apply for any Ivy League schools? She seems so bright. What is the implication? What is the bias of a question like that? What makes a school a great school? At my school, 2 students decided they wanted to start a foundation to bring school supplies to kids in China. I heard a lot of other kids say, there's a whole lot of people needing help in China. How are 2 16-year-old girls going to change that? Plus, don't you think charity should start at home? Fortunately, these 2 girls were not dissuaded. They went for it anyway. You could Google China First. I think you'll see a little story about my 2 students. When we want to make decisions which are not common in our culture, we're faced with kind of countercultural surprise when we do so, not necessarily support. But we need different standards, and we need to get those. We need different questions to be asked of our decisions. Here's an example. Would making this choice align with my goal of growth and service to others? You don't hear that question every day, but it's a good one. Would doing this bring out the best in me and those others involved? That's a different term than success, but it sounds like a good piece of success, bringing out the best in myself. Here's another. Is this a choice that I could be proud to claim in the company of other great souls that I admire? This is the thing. Are my culture's norms and standards of success adequate for the one precious life that I have to live? If not, who will identify what those standards should be for me? Who will set the criteria? That's what this unit is about.